Vasquez. I'm an artist. I created this piece 100% recycled materials. That's one of the things that I like to do, is work with materials that have no longer been used for purpose. Created this mannequin was I found that it was basically destroyed, and I had to refurbish and make it. I was asked to do an art piece for a health exhibit, and I wanted to bring conscience to the kids about the consumption of sugars. And this piece is, as you can see from the front, it is a beautiful shape. But as you turn the piece, you see that it is totally different from the back. When I put this presentation for the show, I got a lot of wraps of candy and Pepsi-Colas and Coca-Colas, a lot of stuff on the floor. And I was able to tell the kids to come over and touch it. This is like an interactive piece where kids can come over and touch it and see that art, is accessible. The stool, I found it in a landfill. I'll pick it up, clean it up, and I didn't use the legs of the mannequin. I wanted to use the stool because diabetes, one of the effects is to lose the members if you don't eat properly and you don't take care of yourself. Once you have diabetes, you have to really take care of yourself, otherwise you're going to end up losing your legs. And so this was probably the best way for me to tell the kids and to show the audience what this is all about. This one was very popular. This one basically was the beginning of the piece. This is 100% candy, sell in a bag of blood. It looked like a single blood. And so, little by little, I was using, pieces that I found and some of the breaks that you use to check your blood, some of the materials, and some of the. I did a lot of research and tried to find out some ways to describe what I wanted to say. And so the color. I like the color blue, that's why I use it and try to keep it as simple as possible to have the message given to the kids. I think that's the only thing I can say about it. If you have questions, one of the things I like to do is I use this one and keep it like this so the kids can come over and you show them that they can turn around and play with it.
This is a really nice introduction for young people to understand that art doesn't have to be two-dimensional, that conceptual art exists, and that it's okay to make something that isn't, completely traditional. And I think one of the problems with our high school shows, we can't seem to get these kids out of the idea that it doesn't have to be a drawing or a painting or something flat. It can be something. Although we did have one student make repurpose a trash can and did an art history lesson on it, which is fabulous. But I think this is a perfect example of that, like getting young people to think about using conceptual things in their everyday life to make it more, right, or to express themselves.
Yeah. And then one of the points I want to emphasize with this show is that you can use recycled materials to create your art piece. You don't have to buy everything new. Everything in this piece is being recycled, and it's important. It's important for me to live in the desert where there's a lot of trash everywhere. We can be able to use it, and not only for creative purposes, but also to teach the new generations about some of the diseases that are affecting us.
Tell us about the T-shirt.
Yeah, what does it say on it?
Did you hand paint that?
This one I brought it. I'm originally from Guatemala, so I'm a Guatemalan American artist. Okay, I always want to say that. And I had it for many years, and one of the because where we had the show they were strict on the censorship. cannot show the breasts to the audience, so I had to cover some way, and the only way I could come up with was to add a shirt, which still show the shape, but it was used for that purpose. This one is I come from Guatemala, so that was me. That was me telling them that I'm coming from Central America, and so this one, the image is from the Atitlán, which is many years ago was the second most beautiful lake in the world, and so we Guatemalans are proud of that, and so that was the only reason I used the shirt. Otherwise, I would have left it bare naked, because that would be that's how the image was.
I'm sure you're thinking the same thing about the color on the T-shirt itself. Did you hand paint that?
No, that one is actually is a tourist. This is basically a tourist shirt that you buy at the airport when you leave.
It's a great choice for the theme, because you have like this whole, blood, and it feels natural. I don't know. I think it's a super great theme. You have all kinds of the same things happening with these lines coming down that follow this pattern. Yeah. Visually, it works really well.
Thank you.
Well, and I think that
the saccharine birds on there.
I actually think that the T-shirt, cut, exposing the midriff, and this contrast of the light T-shirt against the blue body is very odd, and it's compelling, because you have this sort of totally idealized figure, right? I mean, this mannequin isn't the ideal female figure, right? And then you have this cheeky tourist T-shirt as a contrast to that, and then you're playing with all of these metaphors, and it's like a puzzle. And in a way, I could see it in a show with Robert's piece, because it's kind of a similar layering of symbols and metaphor in that way, and I think it's very strong in that regard. I'm very, very interested in the whole idea of finishing the piece on its own pedestal with its own legs, and that the whole piece is completely integrated and thought out. No part was left unimagined, and that's the sign of a complex thinker, and that's great. That's what we look for in the work that we show here, and the gallerists look for as well. So you have a lot going on in this piece, and so it keeps your attention for a while, and it's very
You
generous.
could have multiple conversations about what this would incite. We had 2 hours to talk about it. We would be able to fill that 2 hours easily. Yeah,
That was the idea, and like I said, it was took a lot of time to think about it, and I tried like at least 20 shirts before I decided for this one. One of the things I tried to look for is to find the right material, the right stuff for the piece. This is something not just put up in there and done. There's a lot of thinking behind it. It took me about 2 months to learn about the disease. The funny thing about this thing is that I would start feeling shaky. I start feeling, kind of anxious, and it never happened before. So while I was learning about diabetes, I went to check with the doctor, and they told me that I had diabetes, that I had type 2 diabetes, and that I had to really change my way of life. And so in a sense, that I was creating this piece for me. So that was a really eye-opening experience, and for me, the art piece, putting everything together, is just secondary for me as an artist. The learning, the studying and learning the subject that I'm going to create is what really interested me behind. I'm really behind. Try to learn about what I'm doing and what I'm going to create. Once I know everything I want to know about the subject, then I can come over and just create a piece, and it comes easy. That's the way I work. That's how my mind works. If I sit down and if I say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'll pass a year and I won't do nothing. But if I study the subject, study what I'm doing,
It's a really good point to articulate to understand and listen to and look objectively at your own creative process. Like how you just described, you know what you need to make a work of art. And not all of us really, when we're young artists and we're just starting out, we might not know, we may not have our creative process developed yet, or it might be in a state of change or flux. That's all good information to be aware of as you're developing your art practice. And so I'm glad you articulated that. It's an important point.
Do you have a name to it or something that'll pull it all together?
Diabetes. Basically, that's diabetes. That's
Diabetes?
Yeah, that's what I came up with because that's what it represents. That's what it is. And you know, when I had all this pile of bottles and candy wrappers and half-eaten chocolates and stuff like that, it made a bigger statement when you see it because it was kind of like an installation, and the kids can come over around and they can see, they can touch it in this part of our daily living. It's just, so that was my thing. And some of you are some beers that I had to drink for artist purposes. So I had to eat a couple of 6 packs so there's some arts and stuff like that. So, you're free to do that. So, does anybody else have?
I just wanted to say I haven't seen a learn piece from Edwin. It hasn't been controversial, insightful, educational. It's always creative, and so they like to see the work. Every time we don't get bored, we don't get tired of seeing the work. It's always very original. The only comment that I have, and I saw this piece when I went to his studio, is that I would have taken advantage of the shirt to put maybe McDonald's or some kind of M&M.
Well, that was on the floor.
That might be too
right.
Obvious.
A little bit, too much on the edge.
Right.
So
yeah, that was on the pile of junk that I had on the floor. The sodas and all the stuff that we overconsume.
Because this T-shirt gives it an almost like I'm an everyday person effect. If they were wearing like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that, then it becomes a statement against that particular brand. Yeah.
We have
Anybody else?
12 more people to go.
Oh, we
It's
need to go.
7:21, so I feel like.
Well, no, thank you guys very much
Good job.